Okay, I'm about to leave. Let's see. Does the Charlie Kirk, does his shooter match the narrative that we're always given when it comes to gun violence or mass shootings? Uh, does that does that shooter match that narrative? Um, a lady who is, she admits she has TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. She had it pretty bad. She had to go to the hospital. They put her in mental health urgent care, like the emergency room for mental conditions, not for physical. She's not a veteran. We have the same thing as the veterans. If you ever in need and you're in Long Beach, it's on the first floor where you find the elevators. You just walk in and you go to your left, and there's where mental health emergency. I can't remember what they call it. Mental health urgent care, maybe, I don't know. But she did go for 3 days. But it does this shooter meet the narrative? The groups that she's in, the anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, pro, she says it's kind of like the pro, I don't want to say, I can't say, I'll get kicked off of here. When you have a baby and you don't want the baby to come out, and you stop it from that process, I can't really say the word. It's kind of like they say pew pew for a gun, or now I say gun, I'll make it pew pew for a gun, or you can't say murder, you gotta say unalived, or killed, or they're no longer alive. You gotta say unalived. You can't say they're dead, because we're such little butterflies, will go crazy. But she was told by all the groups that she's on, most of them are Facebook, some are on other formats. I think she said Instagram is another one that she's on, and X. They're all saying, see, there it is, the same thing over and over again. It's the same narrative over and over again. They said that the shooter, can you say shooter? Or you gotta say SHO_TER. That guy, the fellow with the pew pew that did the unaliving of Kirk, maybe that's why we're so crazy. We just can't say we can't say what's real. So she said that they all said that it matched the narrative of a shooter. An unprovoked attack, perhaps. Maybe it's no one you know. It's not like someone tried to grab your purse and you sprayed him with some pepper spray and he tripped over his shoelace and hit his head on the curb and died. But one where you seek out somebody for some reason, like the Columbine boys, whatever you want to call them, the S that they are, they went through there and shot people because they were bullied. They're bullied. And how dare you bully me? I'm going to bring a gun and armor some and some pipe bombs and explosives. I'm going to set a fire. I'm going to do all these things because I was bullied. Okay. All right. The whole school did that to you? Maybe the administrators didn't do anything about that. Maybe you complained, your parents complained, and they still teased you for being nerds, trench coat mafia, whatever. But yeah, they always seem to say there's a narrative for that, and that this guy, he's the poster child. The one who shot Kirk is a poster child of that narrative. Okay, and they're still saying that right now. Some of them are still, she said, saying that to this day. I said, well, that's not true. That's a bunch of bull poo-poo. That's not true. That's not true. We can look at the first, like we look at the gun. We can look at the person. We can look at the lifestyle. We can look at the groups he was affiliated with. They're probably going to put him down. It looks like he'll probably end up getting the death penalty. They got DNA on the towel, DNA on the rifle, DNA on the screwdriver. They got video of him there. They got his boyfriend will have to testify now. They got his messages back and forth with his boyfriend. The boyfriend is going to be offered probably one of those, look, here's the deal. We know you didn't pull the trigger, but we know that you knew ahead of time. We knew that you were involved in this. We got two kind of things that we got going here. Now, it's kind of like the Oklahoma city bombing, what's his name, McVeigh or whatever. He got put down. The other ones did not. But here we got two different little options for you there. Remember, he's a gay, tranny, furry, so he's probably got a little bit of issues up top. But I think he'll understand. I think his attorney will talk to him. But they'll say something like, hey, you can cooperate, and we'll get you some time. You're going to do some time, maybe. I can't remember the other one did. I can't remember his name right now. But he ended up doing time for being complicit or being involved before the action, during the action, and after. So he was accomplice because of that. Now this guy will probably offer something like, look, we'll get you 10 years as an accomplice. We know you did it. You're supposed to go get the rifle, and you were egging him on. Come on, do this. we'll get you 10 years. Or we can give you as a co-conspirator, a co-involvement, a co-whatever, co-worker, co-lover. We can give you the death penalty. Okay? So think it over. We'll come back and check on you in a couple of days. Maybe you want to plead guilty, get the 5 years, the 10 years, or would you like us to go ahead and you'll be no more? I don't know. Shooting a furry animal in the forest, whatever it was. But he was supposed to go get the gun. He didn't. Now, if I was in this situation, God, I highly doubt it will be, because I am strong enough to tell somebody, nope. But anyway, I don't have friends like that. A lot of people say, what would you do if your friend? Well, I'd call 911. Or I'd take him, if it came into my house and said, David, you're going to do this, then I'm going to probably have to go bang bang on that person. Just the way it is. If they come into my house and they try to make me involved in a murder or assassination plot, they're going to get a bang bang. So, I wouldn't do it. But I think I would say, well, you're telling me that I'm an accomplice because I was to go get the rifle and the towel and all the death tools. Did I do it? I did not. Why? Because I'm not involved. That's why I asked my lawyer, can we do a thing like that? No, I'm not a genius when it comes to law. But let's look at the shooter. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey, shooter, you piece of feces. Let's see. Does he fit the narrative? Okay, this is the narrative. Is he a white male? Okay, we got one. Okay, one. Is he a high school student? Is he a preteen or teen? Nope. Did he use assault weapon, an automatic weapon, an AR-style rifle? Nope. Is he MAGA? Nope. Is he straight? No. He's a homosexual. I guess he's the one that's supposed to look more like a regular dude walking down the street. If you're wearing a furry costume and you're a tranny, furry, homosexual, I'm sure people had other words for all three of those. But, okay, is he straight? No, he's homosexual. Is he MAGA? We already covered that. Is he a white supremacist? He shot a white guy. If you're a white supremacist, you're probably not going to shoot a conservative political person. He wasn't in office, but he was very political, very pro-Trump, very pro-conservative, with a religious overtone. Would he shoot him if he was that? No. So, was it an anti-religious thing? I mean, was this Charlie Kirk guy going against his religious beliefs? Not really. Charlie Kirk, I don't know if he's Protestant or Catholic, or he could be a Mormon, I don't know. But the parents of the person who did the shooting, very conservative Mormon. I guess he was saying that his dad, after the election, got really MAGA-like, I guess they're saying. So he doesn't meet any of the criteria, other than he was white, not a member of a white supremacy group. He's not straight, So we got a 22, is that what they said? 22-year-old. So is he a preteen? No. Is he a teen? No. Did he have an assault rifle? No. Is he straight? No. He's homosexual. They say he's flamboyantly gay. Is he in the white supremacy movement? Is he MAGA? He meets none of the criteria except for the color of his skin. So if we reverse that and we say that all black guys are members of the Black Panthers and they like to stab people with a weapon on a bus, and they're this and they're that, and the only thing that they matched on the entire thing was the color of their skin. They were a black person who killed somebody walking down the street while trying to steal their gold chain, let's say. So that person would meet the criteria of the color of their skin. If they say, well, this person likes to eat fried chicken, right here, so do I. This person likes watermelon, right here, so do I. So they come up with these narratives to scare you, or whatever. So there are some shooters that use an automatic assault style, AR style rifle, blah blah blah. There's some of them that are 15, teen or preteen. Maybe there's a 12-year-old somewhere that did it. I think there has been. But this guy met none of the criteria except for the color of skin. So we're going to judge this guy, this shooter, and say he's guilty of all this because he's white. He meets no other criteria. The victim was also white. So it wasn't like the guy who went down and shot a bunch of Hispanic people at a Walmart, I guess, was that in Texas. It wasn't the one that went into the black church and shot people because of, like, that was a racially motivated attack, they say, based on mental illness, once again. But this guy was a mentally ill guy, gay, has a boyfriend who was a gay, tranny, furry. He wrote pro transsexual or things on his bullet casings. Obviously, he wrote it on the bullet. No, the bullet's a little thing that comes out at the end. You can't really write too much there, but the casing is a long, skinny thing. Yeah, that's. I can show you sort of here. There we go. Am I allowed to show ammunition? Okay, this is not the kind of thing he used. I don't know what it was. It was maybe like a 30-06. You know, I don't know. But anyway, so here we go. Let me go. The nomenclature. This has been misspoken a lot too. So this would be the bullet. These are little 38 specials. That would be the bullet. So he didn't write on here. Look at this section here. This is where he wrote. Okay, so we got bullet. This is the bullet casing. Some people call it the brass. On the back, that's the primer. So if I was going like this and that got hit, you know. So anyway, that's where he wrote. He wrote on here. So if you're gonna paint a painting, you're probably not gonna paint it on a postage stamp. You can paint it on a canvas or something like that. So that's what happened. He doesn't fit the narrative at all. So I told him, look, if you're running around scared of preteen to teen, white, male, pro-MAGA, white supremacist with this automatic weapon, it's none of that. It's none of that. He's only fits one. He's white. She's white too. I said, so are you the same as him? You both meet one criteria. Are you both mass shooters or murderers, assassins? Are you an assassin because you have white skin too? She's not a male. She's not a homosexual. You know, I mean, she's not. She's straight. But if you look at all the different things, she matches a couple. So if you take away male and she's a female, but she's not gay, you know, definitely not MAGA. So I said you basically match it on the fact that you are straight and white. So she matches two. She actually matches more than the shooter does. So I told her, don't worry. There's not going to be a big repeat of all of this going on. The guy who pretended like he had shot him, he was supposed to be anti-Kirk, the one that kind of looks like Tim Walz, or looks just like Tim Walz. When he was arrested, they got him for that shooting, and then they found he didn't do the shooting, so they got him for obstructing justice, and now they got his phone, it's full of child porn. So that guy will probably do life, I mean, because he's, what, I don't know, I guess he's maybe in his 70s. If they give him 20 years, I don't think he's going to be 20 years in prison, not exactly the same thing as 20 years running around in Utah, going to the spa or whatever. So anyway, please, you got a brain, use it or lose it, I guess. Please also subscribe, like, share, and give me your comments. What do you think? What do you make of this? Are they pushing that narrative on every single thing? It seems like they are. Take care.